The Lightfall expansions brought us some pretty cool updates, one of the main things being armor changes. With the updates to armor and armor mods, it kind of changes how we approach build crafting. So in this video, I want to take a look back at the invincible Solar Titan build with the Synthoceps and see how we can apply that now with the armor changes, plus take advantage of the artifact perks this season. Now, like I said, the exotic we're going to talk about is the Synthoceps. So its perk, Biotic Enhancements, increase melee lunge range, improve melee, and super damage when you are surrounded. Pretty much this is the ultimate melee machine. So anytime you are surrounded, which is pretty typical when it comes to PvE activities, again, you're going to have that improved melee and super damage. Like I mentioned, we want to take advantage of the artifact perks here. Now, just note, these are all passive buffs now. You actually do not have to slot these into your armor, which is very, very nice. First one I'd look into is the authorized mod solar. Pretty much brings the energy cost down to 1 for any solar related mod. Same thing with the authorized mods grenades. Again, any mod that affects your grenade brings it down to 1. Now this one's interesting. The multi-siphon mods grants access to armor mods in your helmet that combine the effects of the strand siphon mod with solar siphon and void siphon. So your solar and void siphon mods can now combine with the strand one. So if you're rocking a strand with a solar or strand and a void weapon, those both have the opportunity to create orbs now. Now these ones I would highly recommend looking into for this build because this is what I'm basing it off of. So first one is Solar Surge. Collecting a fire sprite gives you an armor charge. Next up is Flare Up. Firebolt grenades apply more scorch stacks. Damaging a combatant with a firebolt grenade spawns a fire sprite near them. And then also Rain of Firebolts. When you have firebolt grenades equipped, gain a second grenade charge. Now let's take a look at what I'm using in the Sunbreaker Solar subclass. So super wise, again, you can go Hammer of Soul or Burning them all. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be clearing out ads like crazy anyway, so should be fine. Next up, for abilities, your class ability, Towering Barricade or Rally Barricade, whichever one you want to do, doesn't really matter. Again, your movement ability, you can go with any lift that you want. I like Strafe. Obviously, for our melee here, we want the Throwing Hammer. Throw a hammer from a distance. Picking up a thrown hammer fully recharges your melee ability. If the hammer struck a target, picking up grants Cure, and Cure, you are healed in a burst of Mending Solar Light. So pretty much, even if you hit a target and pick it up, you get healed, which is really good. Obviously, for the grenade, we're going to be rocking the Firebolt Grenade. Again, a grenade that unleashes bolts of damaging solar light and nearby targets and slightly scorches them. And again, if you get enough scorch stacks, it will ignite them and do a giant explosion. For the aspects, we want number 1, Roaring Flames. Final blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar ability, stacks up to 3 times. So again, we're going to be using these abilities here. They're going to be able to do more damage once we get some kills racked up. And then the second one is Soul Invictus. Again, solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, and defeated scorch targets creates sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot, and then sunspots apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies restoration. So it allows for scorch, potential ignition, then also restoration. Again, you regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage. So it's pretty much a constant heal, which is really good. For our fragments here, first up is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. So again, that's going to be good. If you didn't know, Radiant actually pops anti-barrier shields now. So you're going to get that bonus weapon damage in general, plus have the opportunity to pop those champions. Next up is Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets. Again, if we apply more scorch stacks, that'll cause an ignition. If you didn't know, ignition can actually stun unstoppable champions. So there's 2 things out of the way right there. Next one is a new solar fragment that you can pick up from my core called Ember of Resolve. Solar grenade final blows cure you. And again, like we mentioned, with the hammer, it's going to cure you as well. So we're going to have a lot of healing with this build. And then lastly, you can kind of switch around this fragment here, but I would recommend looking into Ember of Empyrean. Again, solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So again, if you're constantly, using your solar abilities, you're going to be able to keep up radiant and restoration constantly, which means the same thing will be able to happen for your teammates, making your teammates radiant and all that great jazz. Now let's talk about the armor mods that I'm using. So first up here on the helmet, I'm rocking Solar Siphon. Rapid solar weapon final blows create an orb of power. Then I have Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Then hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Again, if you didn't want to rock the Solar Siphon, you could substitute that for another Ashes to Assets and hands-on. Either way, you're going to be able to get that super back pretty quickly with these. On our Synthoceps, I am rocking Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. Next is Impact Induction. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And then Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Additionally, your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. Now, if you didn't want to rock Impact Induction, you could do double heavy-handed, or I would look into Firepower. Again, your grenade final blows create orbs of power, but I honestly like the Kickstart impact induction, and heavy-handed combo here. For our chest piece, I have at least 1 charged up. Again, increasing the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. Base is 3. The max you can have is 6 if you have 3 charged up mods here. Again, if you didn't want to have all 3 of those, you could just rock 1 and then put on your resistance and your reserve mods. You can do whatever you want here, but again, I would recommend at least 1 charged up. On our boots here, I have stacks on stacks. Picking up an Orb of Power grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge, so when you pick up 1 Orb of Power, it'll give you 2 armor charges. Next up, I have double Innervation here. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. If you did not want to use something like Innervation, and again, we're going to be focusing on solar weapons specifically here, you could rock Solar Weapon Surge. Again, your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. Just note that whenever Grenade Kickstart kicks in, it gets rid of all those armor charges, so you will lose that Solar Weapon Surge for a time. And lastly, on my class item here, I am rocking Triple Bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Now, the stats we want to focus on is number 1, Resilience. We talk about this every single video. Resilience is key. If you have tier 10 Resilience, you get a 30% damage reduction in PvE, which is fantastic. Then the second stat I'd look into is Discipline here. Again, Discipline is tied to the grenade, and we want to have those Firebolt grenades as quickly as possible. Now, for weapon options, like I mentioned, you can do just about anything here, but if you are going to be rocking the Solar Weapon Surge on your boots, I would recommend solar weapons. One highly recommended one in general I would use is Callous Mini Tool if you have one, because of Incandescent. Again, defeating a target spreads a longer lasting scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause scorch in a larger radius. So again, you do not necessarily need Callous Mini Tool, but any weapon with Incandescent is going to perform really well with this build. If you're not casting synergy here, it's honestly pretty simple. Like, you don't have to do any crazy combos or anything. It's honestly just spamming your abilities. One obviously being the Bonk Hammer, right? Again, you're gonna throw that hammer. Synthoceps is gonna kick in as long as you're surrounded by targets. That's gonna do even more damage on top of you getting solar ability kills, proccing Roaring Flames, which means the Bonk Hammer can do even more damage on top of that. So, as an example for this scenario, right? Let's just say we throw our Bonk Hammer right off rip. Again, Heavy Hand is going to kick in, spawning an Orb of Power. And again, there's no cooldown for that. As long as you continue to get Bonk Hammer kills, you will be able to have Orbs of Power for you and your teammates. Also, Impact Induction is going to kick in, allowing you for a cooldown on your grenade. And then we also have Hands On from the helmet, so that's going to give us bonus super energy on top of that. And then on the orb side of things, again, every time we collect one Orb of Power, we're going to get 2 armor charges. Innervation is going to kick in, allowing us to have that grenade back even faster as well on top of that. Now, let's say we're ready to throw our grenades. Again, we're going to have 2 Firebolt grenades. We have max armor charges, whatever that may be, 4, 5, 6. Again, you throw that initial Firebolt grenade. Grenade Kickstart is going to kick in, allowing for a big chunk of that grenade energy to come back. So you have that Firebolt back. Again, what's really cool, like we mentioned, especially with the artifact here, Flare Up, allowing the Firebolt, whenever they damage a combatant, it'll spawn a Fire Sprite. Now, when you collect that Fire Sprite because of Solar Surge, you'll gain an armor charge. Oh, by the way, since we have stacks on stacks, now you get 2 armor charges from that. And with Rain of Firebolts, now we have 2 Firebolt grenades, allowing for more of those Fire Sprites to be able to be spawned in. Now, if you can recall, anytime we get any solar ability kill, that's going to spawn a Sunspot. Sunspots give restoration, allowing for good healing. Anytime you get a kill with the hammer, you're going to get Cure, which is just an immediate bump of healing to your health. On top of Ember of Resolve, Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you. So pretty much you have so many things healing you in this space, the throwing hammer, the grenades, and and the sunspots, that you're pretty much unkillable at this point. And on top of your hammer being able to, you know, do all that, you can also proc Radiant for you and your teammates, which is going to allow for even more weapon damage. And again, any of these solar abilities that you use are going to apply more scorch checks, which means more ignitions. You'll be able to keep this up constantly with Ember of Empyrean because you are getting solar weapon and ability final blows, which is absolutely disgusting. It's pretty much just a chain reaction of, as long as you are getting kills with the throwing hammer, you can throw more grenades. The more grenades you can throw, more fire sprites, more orbs, more armor charge, more healing. It's basically the most, it's a little confusing, I will admit, but honestly, just spam those abilities and you'll be fine. I know that was a lot to go through, so I hope it wasn't too confusing for you guys. If you just want some practical testing, just put on what I have here in the build and just go into PvE and test it out and find something that works for you. Like I said, there are mods that you can substitute. There's some solar fragments you can substitute in to find something that's good. There's a lot of viable builds with the new armor changes to how build crafting works in Destiny now. So if you liked this build or didn't like it, or you think I could have added some changes here and there, leave those in the comments. I'm definitely willing to hear you out. I'm going to be testing stuff out in this game all the time. In any event, if you guys like what you saw, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we actually stream here on YouTube 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, we are mainly going to be playing Destiny 2, carrying people through the new raid once that's out, and doing Pinnacle Dungeons and a bunch of other activities together, PvP, all that great jazz. If you want to join in, all you have to do is just hop in the live stream, say, hey Dave, can I join in? I'll say absolutely. Next thing I'm going to tell you, join my Discord. That is going to be the way you're going to be proactive, and that's where everybody is talking. So again, like I said, it's going to be mainly Destiny 2, but we also have other game chats in there and other stuff, including PC Tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you didn't know, we hit YouTube Partner here on the channel, which has just been freaking awesome. Again, it's given us access to a lot of cool things, one of those things being memberships. If you don't know what a membership is, essentially it is like a Twitch subscription. Again, it's going to give you access to exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other cool things here on the channel. So if you would like more information, all you have to do is press that join button next to subscribe, and that will give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video. Sheesh.